Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the Paladino Live Network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today, as it is our annual draft review and free agency show. One of my favorites. And I'd venture to go as far as to say this probably is my favorite show annually when you think about it, is that, looking at the draft, free agency, reviewing what the Timberwolves did, taking two centers, which is pretty unusual. It also tells you, got to look towards the future a bit with the center position. So definitely nothing wrong with that, especially the first pick, but really I like both of them. I think it's kind of exciting. We're also going to look at all the different free agent signings and trades and such. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them, for the most part. Like a good number of them. You can't go looking at everybody. Otherwise, you're going to be going crazy. But the Timberwolves go to France here with the 17th pick. Obviously, things start off with Cooper Flagg going number 1 overall and so on and so forth. But we're not really here to necessarily talk about Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper and such. Kind of, I don't know, it is what it is. Good for them and good luck and all that. And there were trades all over the place. By the time it got to the 10th pick, of course, that was the Kevin Durant trade. And kind of annoying, all these players have to put on hats for teams they know they're not going to, because these trades may have been consummated like a week earlier, which pretty much the Kevin Durant trade was quite a ways earlier from the actual draft. But, well, it is what it is there. Pick after pick after pick ended up being traded one way or another from this team to this team, da-da-da-da-da, so it was kind of goofy. Even the Beringer trade ultimately was a trade. The Beringer pick was a trade. So it's Joan Beringer, and not Juan Beringer, the former Minnesota Twins relief pitcher, but it kind of looks like it. It is kind of different, but he's French, 7 foot, 18 years old. Didn't play basketball until just a few years ago. What was the talk about? Like his feet didn't fit in the cleats anymore. He was a soccer player. He just got too big, basically, for soccer. So it's like, screw it, I'll play basketball. And he ends up being the 17th pick in the draft. So kind of cool and kind of impressive. At the same time, looking at his international stats, of course, again in Francais, this thing's saying 6'9", but I mean, he's not 6'9". No, I believe he's right about 6. He's 6'11" and will be 7 foot soon, probably because he's not fully grown yet. At the end of the day, so 2 seasons so far on register. Actually, just 1 year is all we're really seeing here. 24-25, and again, he just started playing basketball like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, which is insane. Averaging, 17.5 minutes for Euro Cup. It's the Euro Cup League. Sedevita, whatever. It is what it is. I'll just say Olympia, even though that's not what it is. Olympia or something like that. 4.5 points, 17.5 minutes, 1.2 blocks. This is in 17 games. Even shot, nope, he didn't shoot a single three-pointer. That's fine with me. 60% from the floor. Basically, at that point, only 50% at the free throw line, so that's a little bit irritating. The 5.5 rebounds, about a half a steal, and then you look at his per 36 minutes. It's about 9.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. So definitely some more interesting numbers there when you get to per 36 minutes, which is like a starter versus a reserve. And a guy at this age who's this raw, definitely more a reserve, but you're seeing athleticism, you're seeing a lot of talent. He's a good passer when he does pass, but generally speaking, kind of mostly getting to the basket when he has it, but definitely shows some skill level that a lot of players actually don't really have. There's definitely something here with this guy. It's all about patience. The cool part is he's already here, so that's the good part. The athleticism is very evident. Obviously a taller guy, so you're going to have, You're not going to have somebody literally flying up and down the court like, say, I don't even know, like Russell Westbrook in his prime when he was going up there with his speed. But you're definitely seeing a versatile player that can move around. Definitely can be the receiver for alley-oops and such. Again, no three-point game, which is, again, totally fine with me. I'm getting sick and tired of 7-foot whoever shooting like 17 three-pointers a game. It's like, come on, okay? Can we just, can we play our position a little bit and stop trying to be shooting guards and point guards and everything when we're centers? Or point, I don't know. It gets old after a while. So obviously got stuff going on in the background. Even has a little bit of a mid-range game as well. Joan Beringer definitely has something to work with, to say the least. Little give and go and such, attacking the basket. But obviously a very raw player, so he'll have plenty of time to develop, and a very nice mentor to work with, and a French multi-defensive player of the year, a very respected French center with the Minnesota Timberwolves named Rudy Gobert. So the Wolves in no hurry to get rid of Rudy Gobert, and of course other players we're going to talk about in a little bit, the re-signings for the Timberwolves, which will give this young man time to develop, but also will be here in the United States as well. So that's the good part. We don't have to worry about him, staying over there or anything. He'll be in the summer league. He'll also be in the in the G League, also developing, and probably see some action this year, but not a whole lot, depending on just how ready he is. But very quick development, though, when you consider how far he's gone. To a point, he can be a almost lottery pick. So pretty exciting, to say the least, at the end of the day. And then, obviously, again, like the Timberwolves started trading down. They had the first overall pick in the second round. A lot of us looking forward to that, but ultimately that pick wasn't made by the Timberwolves. It was traded to the Phoenix Suns. Rasheer Fleming was officially picked by the Wolves, but was picked for the Phoenix Suns. The Wolves would trade down multiple times. Kobe Bray, I believe, was that 41st pick, which is 11th in the second round. Wolves would then settle on 45. It was the Chicago Bulls trade with the Wolves and the Bulls, so it was a multi-trade type of thing eventually. Rocco Zilkarsky, so the Timberwolves will have another Australian in the mix. It sounds like he will be hanging around in Australia for the time being, but it's not going to be like this huge problem. As long as he, is good enough to play in the NBA, it's a pretty good chance he will be in the NBA. Rocco Zilkarsky, July 11th, 2006 was his birthday. Queensland, Australia, 7'2" here, but they're saying he's actually more like a 7'4". So that's absolutely insane when you consider that. We're going to backtrack real quick here to Joan Beringer. Again, now they're saying 6'7". It's at 6'10", excuse me. November 6, 2006. Wow, so even younger than Rocco. But two are very young individuals. Rocco Zilkarsky won't be as difficult to pronounce, but a lot of us very intrigued and excited with Joan Beringer, who will likely wear number 20. Rocco Zilkarsky will be wearing number 44 with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, so where is everything? It's like it disappeared. I remember seeing it before. What just happened? What's going on? So that's kind of weird. My apologies here for this. It's kind of funky. But I basically called him the Dunkaroo because he's, often close to the basket and putting it in. So the Dunkaroo. Rocco Zilkarsky. Last year was Dilly Dilly. This year it's the Dunkaroo.
Dunkaroos, don't just eat your Dunkaroos.
Yes, indeed. Remember that fun commercial years ago, way back in the day. So Dunkaroos. You don't just eat your Dunkaroos. Okay, sorry. So Brisbane, Australia, which is actually where our dear friend who has passed away came from. That would be Pumpa, also known as Reese Pedretti. So obviously big shout out to him forever. 7 minutes a game, 23-24, Brisbane in the NBL. Marcus many years ago called it the No Ballers League. Oh, Marcus. NBL. What is it? Hungry Jacks National Basketball League. Hungry Jacks. Interesting. Well, Hungry Jacks is basically Burger King, which is kind of funny. So, it's the National Basketball League over there. 7 minutes per game in 23-24 for Brisbane. 3.2 points. One whole block in just 7 minutes a game. Dang, man. 2 rebounds. Now, that is crazy. 1 whole block. He managed a whole block in that amount of time, just 7 minutes. Then this last season, Brisbane again, 18 games, almost 12 minutes basically, 4.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, less than a 0.6 blocks. What the heck? Doggone it. Why are his numbers lower? But I believe maybe he'd been hurt a bit. He missed some time because he played 27 games in 23-24 per 36, 16.7, almost 11 rebounds basically, 5.2 blocks. Yep, he was blocking a lot of shots out there, which is pretty exciting, to say the least. Him being Rocco Zilkarsky. And then last year, same place and all that good stuff, a few more minutes. 14 points a game, 2 blocks. Come on, why did that drop so much? And then 10.5 rebounds. So kind of similar in the rebounding category, a little bit less in the points and way less in the blocks. That must have been, I don't know. He averaged basically a block a game, yep, in just 7 minutes per game. So that's why I guess he just kind of happened to be in the right place, right time a lot in those seasons. And then, but still about 2 blocks a game. I'm sure the numbers will be back up, but I'm guessing he was hurt a bit as well. Rocco Zilkarsky. Hopefully he does lace him up for the Timberwolves. Wouldn't that be amazing? I'd love to see that happen. Obviously love what we're getting with Joan Beringer. It's not Beringer, it's Beringer. So very happy to have him. The train's coming. This is Joan driving down the lane for a dunk, or even Rocco, the Dunkaroo, driving down the lane for a dunk. But yes, that's where you can hear the train here on Saturdays. Son of a gun. Okay, we got it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, well, at least the horn is over. Big guy with the horn, huh? Well, the Timberwolves getting 2 big guys. Conversations was pretty cool. I enjoyed the introductory press conference. Highly recommend it. On basically Minnesota Timberwolves on YouTube. Look that up anytime you want. Basically, if you have internet access, you can watch it. So that's the one cool thing about today. Technology is nice. Music sucks. Video games aren't as fun, but technology is nicer. That's the one good thing about today. Yes, music sucks, in my opinion, and so does, I don't know, I'm not as big a fan of video games as many years ago. I go back eons ago, I'm not talking no PS3 or anything. I'm talking PS1, before PS1, way before. Anyhow, free agency and such, then we'll get into trades, which is always entertaining. What should I do first, free agency or trades? Free agency. Jaren Jackson Jr., 5 years, $250. That's an AAV of about 48. That's sick. Santi Aldama. This is the Grizzlies again. 52.5, AAV 17.5, which in the hockey world, he'd be the highest paid player in the history of the NHL. Do you realize that? At 17.5? Isn't that sad? I mean, Santi Aldama, okay, he's okay. That's about it. Jake LaRavia, you'd be pretty nice, maybe like a second or third line player in the NHL, like not great but good, at 5.5. Paul Reed, same thing. With Detroit, the Lakers getting Jake LaRavia, whatever. Okay, Dorian Finney-Smith, DFS. I don't know what I'm saying. 4 years, 53, 13.25 AA per whatever. Trey Jones, $24 million with the Bulls. $8 million per. The Mavericks signed D'Angelo Russell. That's interesting. The Mavericks signed D'Angelo frickin' Russell. 2 years, $13 million, 6.5. Ty Jerome, Kevin Porter. The Bucks signed Kevin Porter Jr. This is after a sign and trade type of thing, or it was a trade, an agreement, an extension. 2 years. Kevin Porter wound up with the Bucks, so good for him. And again, we'll get into that trade later as well. $11 million for 2 years, 5.5 per. Bruce Brown Jr., 1 year, no information. 2 years for the lunatic Kevin Looney, $16 million. I'm just kidding. Okay, we don't need to get into all these guys. Clint Capella going back to Houston. That's where he originally came from. 21.5 at 8.2. That's all. And I love Clint Capella. At 8.2 million, man, I wish. I really, really wish. Brooke Lopez now on the Clippers. Weird. 2 years, $9 million per. That's 18 total there. Luka Garza is on his way out of Minnesota, along with Mr. Minot. We'll get to him in a second. 2 years, 5.5 for Luka. Congratulations and good luck with the Celtics, as obviously they moved on from Porzingis, so there's going to be some minutes to be had for Luka Garza. Good luck, man. Very sad news, but very much expected, and a happy news for him. Apparently one of the most awesome guys on the entire team by far, behind the scenes, and awesome to watch. And he reminded me a lot of Malik Sealy, kind of a more athletic version of him, you could say. He was a Sealy type, and God bless Nickeil Alexander-Walker. 4 years, $62 million with the Atlanta Hawks. 4 years, $62 million with the Hawks, 15.5 per. Congratulations, NAW. Congratulations, NAW. And you'll be sorely missed here in Minnesota, but it kind of is what it is. A lot of us saw this happening. He was quite a bargain for the Minnesota Timberwolves in so many ways, and man, he was barely making anything when the Wolves first acquired him, and then we gave him the extension, which was a nice little raise. What was it, like $9 million per or something, or was it even that? Or I don't even remember. Was it like $5 million or something? It was not much, but now he's at 15.5 per for 4 years, and a team that I like very much, the Atlanta Hawks. I've always liked the Hawks. Always had a soft spot for them, dating back to Dominique Wilkins. Yes, we're talking way back in the day, like 35 years ago was when I started liking the Hawks. Magic Johnson, no, the Orlando Magic signed one of the guys we wouldn't have minded being a bridge point guard from Mike Conley to Rob Dillingham. 1 year, $7 million. But talk is, as we continue to get frustrated watching all these point guards sign elsewhere or traded elsewhere and this and that, talk is, according to John Krasinski, which is somebody who knows a thing or two about the Minnesota Timberwolves, is that there's a reason why there haven't been any moves. It's not because Mike Conley's the point guard. No. It's because Rob Dillingham. It's time to unleash Rob Dillingham. That's what talk is. That they are going to unleash Rob Dillingham. There's a lot of confidence behind the scenes in Rob Dillingham becoming, what he's supposed to be. An 8th overall pick rather than a guy rotting on the bench. So that's exciting at the end of the day. So it made me feel better hearing Mr. Johnny K say that. So I really appreciate that in so many ways, because I'm a Rob Dillingham fan. I like Dilly Dilly. I want you to go out and kick some butt, Dilly. Go get him, okay?
Dilly Dilly. Dilly Dilly.
Maybe someday it'll be Dilly Dilly to the Dunkaroo. Wouldn't that be cool, huh? We'll see what happens. But Dilly Dilly is going to be more of a current thing. The Dunkaroo is a future still at the point. Luke Kennard, 1 year, 11. Yep, that's the Hawks. Torian Prince, former Wolf, Bucks, $7 million. Good, congratulations, Torian. He's made a lot of money throughout his career. The Knicks will sign Jordan Clarkson. I'm not sure yet what the deal is. 2 years, 7.5 for Gary Trent Jr. That's pretty cheap. That's sticking with the Bucks there. It's Gary Trent Jr. Miles Turner, definitely a weird, complicated situation. How did the Bucks sign Miles Turner? 4 years, $107 million, because they cut Damian Lillard. Wow. They're waiving the remaining $113 million in Damian Lillard's contract, which was set to expire after 26-27. So now it has been, it's like a Parisi Suter thing, like 23 plus million, I believe, on the books for like 4 more years. So that's kind of a risk, to say the least. Oh, and this other guy, I don't know, this stupid guy, that stupid guy, you know what I mean? The thing, the thing. Okay, yeah, 4-year extension for this MVP, who is also known as a free throw merchant. 4 years, $285 million, the most expensive contract in NBA history in terms of AAV. That's 71.25 per season. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, again, congratulations on the NBA championship and all that. And he also, didn't he get he got he wasn't the All-Star MVP, was he? That would be like a Triple Crown kind of thing. But then again, All-Star, who cares? You can take a piss and win the All-Star MVP as long as you did a good job doing it. But, I don't forgive the vulgar conversation there. But, the regular season MVP and finals MVP, there was a guy named Michael that used to do that kind of frequently back in the day. Well, Shea is one of them now, so that's a pretty big honor. 71.25. Holy moly, man. That's a lot of money. Like when you see, back in the day, you saw 285. That'd be like a 10-year contract or a 14-year contract or something. Now it's just 4 years. It's just 4 years. I mean, even the 107 for Miles Turner, that's like, Garnett money split into 4 years instead of 7 years. I mean, well, Garnett got 125. We'll talk about 125 here in a little bit. Somebody else got that. So somebody locally. Yep. Garnett might even be a fan of his. We'll see. Damian Lillard, we talked about the waiving, and also talk is out there. What was it? Damian Lillard, this would be the number one destination for him. A lot of us are thinking, yeah, right. First of all, much older. And it's not because Damian Lillard is bad or anything, but obviously coming off an Achilles tendon, he's 35. Also, if he's frustrated being in Milwaukee, being so far away from his kids in Portland, why would he come here? I mean, it'd be like slightly closer. It's one state closer than to like Portland or whatever. A lot of people are thinking more like a Golden State or something. And plus, you'd also not probably see him play on the court at all this season, or maybe he'd play by March or something. Just kind of guessing, like a March, April type of thing. And it's like, wow, that's an exciting addition really late in the year. Let's see what happens. But he'd have to get acclimated to the system a bit on the fly as well. Though I suppose he would get acclimated over the course of time. It's not like he wouldn't, be able to practice at all, ever. Eventually he'd be able to practice a little bit, even just reading the playbook and such behind the scenes. There's always that as well. So, whatever. Still getting acclimated to your teammates a bit more by actually, kind of being on the court in the practice. Might not be until like February, March anyway when it comes to that. Dennis Schroeder gets to his 19th team. I'm slightly exaggerating here, and I'm dead serious. Sacramento Kings now signed Dennis Schroeder, 3 years, 45. Crazy. Jacob Poeltl, nice player. Staying with the Raptors, 4 years, 104. Good Lord. The Nuggets signed Tim Hardaway Jr., no money announced for 1 year. Duncan Robinson. Every time I look at that, I think of the Spurs back in the late 90s. Tim Duncan, David Robinson. Yeah, that's probably what he was named after, I swear. Must have been. Duncan Robinson, 3 years, 48 for the Pistons. Okay. Who are going to need a little help at the shooting guard position because stupid Mr. Stupid Guy made several stupid decisions. Shaving point spreads? Are you kidding me? I mean, and making it more obvious, by the way. The Wolves were... What were the Wolves, like, underdogged by... I think the Wolves were like, the point spread was like 8.5 or something. I don't know, but this was when he was still on the Wolves. Him being Malik Beasley, not Michael Beasley, but Malik Beasley. Again, the one that was a sharpshooter and was talking all kinds of bleep when he was at the the Pistons, and the Wolves beat him and made him look stupid with the big comeback. Pretty good Detroit team as well, by the way. He was looking at a big amount of money coming his way in terms of like a new contract, but guess what? Now what? I don't know. He's going to be suspended indefinitely probably for point shaving, basically, gambling, fraud, and all that. You're not supposed to play and gamble at the same time because you can shave point spreads and manipulate things like a game you already lost, but the point spread was 8.5. You're down by 9. Give me the ball. Give me 7 points. Ha ha ha. We just took the money now. Yeah, like either him or somebody else. He could be like manipulating the point spread for someone else there and giving people money that way. So pretty dishonest, evil, bull crap. And it's really sad, actually, that players are out there doing that. Heck, there was a Matlock episode about a college player doing that. And then it was like the athletic director caught him and was going to kick him out. And then the player murdered athletic director. That was a Matlock episode. And, framed the head coach of the team because they were, obviously, the head coach had a horrible temper and was fighting with the athletic director as well. So he framed him, framed the coach. Interesting episode. So, spoiler alert. The player was actually shaving points, and there was evidence of it where he would miss, like, easy shots at the end of games to shave points. And the athletic director noticed it and was like, whoa, this has been going on all year. And, the player murdered the athletic director. That's a Matlock episode dating back into the early half of the 1990s. Yeah. Well, hopefully and pray to God that Malik Beasley doesn't do that to anybody, but no, it's too late now. The shadow would all be cast on him anyway. So, anyway, I'm sorry for that morbid conversation. Hornets sign Spencer Dinwiddie. Doggone it. Well, that's another one, again, that didn't come here because we want Rob Dillingham out there. Yeah, we do. Lakers signed DeAndre Ayton. Apparently, he'd been having temper tantrums behind the scenes in Portland. And they're like, bleep this guy. Just go. You know what? Just go. Go, DeAndre. Just go. It's too bad because I liked him. I liked him with Phoenix. He was their first ever. If you think the Wolves have a bullcrap history in the NBA draft lottery, think about it. The Phoenix Suns at the time were 50 years old, and that was their first ever number one pick in the draft, and they ended up being DeAndre Ayton. Well, I hope he's better than Sam Bowie, but not by much. I mean, they got to the NBA Finals and should have won it. And that just feels like ancient history now. Like, how much has changed since the Phoenix Suns lost the NBA Finals to the Milwaukee Bucks after taking a 2-0 lead? It's very sad. Like, if there's a fan base that should probably, that you should probably have some sympathy for, I think it's the Phoenix Suns. I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, they lost the NBA Finals way back in the 70s to the Celtics. That's kind of a dynasty-ish team. 93 Bulls, that's absolutely a dynasty team. And then the Bucks just kind of popped up suddenly. Who knows if they'll ever win another championship? Maybe every 50 years or so the Bucks will win one. Whereas the Suns are just kind of, I don't know, stuck. And it's kind of sad. Love the uniforms. Love those Valley uniforms. They're really awesome. That Old West. Like if I was an NBA player and the team didn't have, if it didn't have what's that name? What's that guy's name? Booker on the team. That jackass. Phoenix would be one of my first destinations just because it's Phoenix, man. I'd love to play there if I was an NBA player, and I'd love to play for the Wolves too, of course. Just the thought of playing in Arizona, though, would be so cool. I love the Southwest. So, obviously feel bad for Phoenix fans. I have a soft spot for them in a big way. DeAndre Ayton, 2 years, $16 million with Vince Germano's Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, sir, that'd be Stu Benson as well. He's a Los Angeles Laker fan. Kalen Woods out there, right? So, LA fan, I believe he likes the Dodgers too. That's unfortunate. Well, it's good for you. They're winning, but I can't stand them. God, I can't stand the Dodgers. Mavericks re-signed Dante Exum. No details there. Trenton Wofford, I don't know. Jackson Hayes, now he's on the... No, he's staying with the Lakers. Interesting. Jabari Walker, two-way deal. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, that's minor league Jabari Walker with the Sixers. Moritz Wagner. It's not Wagner, it's Wagner. 1 year, $5 million with the Magic for Moritz Wagner. And that's it. That can't be it, can it? That's not that many. Well, it's a bunch of players. Some of them are just kind of like role players and all that, but I don't know. Kind of a funky free agency season. Nothing too exciting yet. I think it's like coming up. Talk also is that LeBron James just might end up finishing his career with the place he started. Third time's a charm. Yeah, really. And wasn't I hinting at that like way back in the season? That LeBron James would wind up back with Cleveland again at some point. I think it was way back in the early part of last year when Cleveland was really looking promising. I mean, championship level team with the best record in the league and all that, kind of hanging around there. I was like, why do I have a feeling LeBron James is going to wind up back in Cleveland one more time? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think anybody really would. Maybe like one final season and an actual shot at winning a championship as well. Maybe walking out with a ring without a comeback suddenly years later. So interesting interesting to say the least. So there's that. The trades and such. Oh boy. Well, hopefully this doesn't get too obnoxious. That can't be right. This isn't updated at all. What the fiddle? Okay, I guess most of the trades happened around the draft, though. That's kind of why. What the fiddle? Yeah, I know. Okay, yep. So there's that Bain trade. We talked about that a bit way back in mid-June. Yeah, all those first-round picks is ridiculous. And with Contavious Caldwell-Pope and Cole Anthony, that's an expensive trade, man. I'm glad Bain is out of the Western Conference. Good riddance. Good riddance. Just go. Mohave King, Aswa Newell, from the going to the Pelicans for a first-round pick. 2026, of course. Now we get to hear about the second-round picks that get traded all over the planet and laugh at that for a few minutes. Memphis acquired the number 1 overall pick for Coward. You coward, Cedric. Just kidding. That Cedric Coward is going to the Grizzlies, number 11. Yang Hansen, number 16, going to the Blazers for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 second-round pick via Atlanta 2028 second-round pick. So on and so forth. Here it comes. You're going to see some 2030s, folks. You ready? Remember all the second-round picks? That's a bit we have. Where the pick probably gets traded like 15,000 times if they show all the different details. Like a 2048 second-round pick going to the Utah Jazz. Okay, excuse me. Utah moved up for the 18th pick. Clayton Jr. Nice. Number 18 overall for Walter Clayton Jr. For Will Riley. So Jazz and the Wizards. Ugh. Ugh. Very exciting franchise. You can tell I'm gagging a little bit. Will Riley, number 20. Well, I would move to Utah, yeah. Well, I would play there. I wouldn't. Yeah, I could move there as long as guys on bicycles don't bother me about being a Mormon every 5 minutes. I'll be okay. Because I think Utah's gorgeous. Anyhow, Wizards receive Will Riley, number 21st overall. Jameer Watkins, number 43 overall. Ready? 2031 second round pick and a 2032 second round pick. What, no 2040s yet? Yeah, that's right around the corner. Nick Clifford, a guy a lot of us wanted here in Minnesota. So Sacramento got him ultimately with the 24 pick from the Thunder. So he was going to the Thunder, but then the Kings swooped in and gave up a 20. No, the Thunder swooped in and gave up the 27 first round pick, 2027 first round pick for the 24 this year. Derek Queen, who was the number 13th overall pick, was picked by the Hawks, winds up with the Pelicans. I'm sure that's, well, whatever. You're in the deep south either way, so. But I'd probably rather be on the Hawks. I don't know. Maybe New Orleans is a nicer place. I don't know. It's than Atlanta, probably. 2026 first round pick, most favorable of New Orleans or Milwaukee. Those are always fun to look at. Wow, really late pick here. Kobe Sanders, 50th overall, going to the Clippers from the Kings, or Knicks, excuse me. The Knicks get the 51st pick. Mohamed Diawara, and the draft rights to Luka Mitrovic. Interesting. Mitrovic, excuse me. Rocco Zilkarsky, and cash considerations coming to the Timberwolves. Number 45 from the Los Angeles Lakers for Adu Thero. Rolls right off your tongue. 36th overall. Rocco Zilkarsky coming to Minnesota, mate. Well, Rocco's in Minnesota. It's the second Rocco, you know that, right? Got Rocco Baldelli, manager of the Twins. He's a little crazy. He curses at the umpires sometimes, but not too much. Love Rocco Zilkarsky, though. Very happy to have him. Cam Jones, number 38 overall, going to the Pacers from the Spurs for a future second-round pick. No year and cash considerations, but no year listed yet. Spurs, as Marcus used to say. Magic acquired the number 32 pick from the Celts. Noah Penda, that's what his name is. And then the Celtics received the number 46 pick. This is this past draft. Amari Williams, number 57, my God. Max Shulga, and 26 second-round pick and 27 second-round pick. Exciting trade. Maybe. Anyhow, Wizards trade for Kobe Jones. Kobe Jones? What, I thought his name was Oh, okay, yeah. I don't get it. This is backwards, isn't it? Okay, I don't get it. The Wizards received Dylan Jones and the 29th second-round pick via Houston. Thunder received Kobe Jones. Waived. Okay, they waived him. That's nice. What's wrong with you guys? Just kidding. This is an interesting one. Very interesting trade here. And I'm not being sarcastic this time. Colin Sexton going to the Hornets. Interesting. From Utah. And a 2030 second-round pick. Yep, the 2030s. Whew. Yeah, for Yusuf Nurkic going to the Jazz. Cool for him, I guess. That's kind of nice. Kind of. Mark Williams, the former Hornet, now going to the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, that was out there. Vasa Misic going to the Hornets with Liam McNeely, 29th overall. If that doesn't sound Australian or something similar. Liam McNeely, that sounds pretty, Aussie-ish. 2029, and probably isn't, but what the heck. 2029, first round pick, least favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah, so probably Utah. Probably. Cleveland and Minnesota, weren't they playoff teams? Yeah. Cleveland had didn't they have the number one seed in the East? I thought they did. Yeah, they didn't have as good a record as the Thunder overall, but okay, well, that's the end of the trades around that point. Not as busy as previous years, is it? I mean, sometimes I was sitting here going for forever. It really wasn't as busy, was it? It's it was just kind of okay, yes, there's going to be trades, but it's not 500 trades and 2045 second-round picks going to their 15th team already, and it's 2025, where it's it could be players getting drafted. It could be almost their children, potentially, like that next generation, basically, being traded around already. I mean, the furthest, the most futuristic one so far is 2032. That is 7 years away. 7 years away, which is pretty wild still. Yeah, like the Colin Sexton and Yusuf Nurkic trade. Yusuf Nurkic has been on a lot of teams, hasn't he? He's good, but I don't know, he's been traded a lot, but I think he gets hurt a lot too. 2030. It's pretty wild. I gotta look him up, okay? Just out of curiosity. I'm not the leader of the Liam McNeely fan club, just so you know, so I don't have as much information on him as others. I just don't. He is where? Where is it? Show some information, will you? Yukon, Texas. Well, I suppose Liam is. Yeah, I know. Texas, Richardson, Texas. Never heard of it in my life, but good for him. He is going to the Charlotte Hornets, yes, like we talked about. 19 years of age. Yukon Huskies. Okay, yeah, I think I remember. Ugh, I hate that. No, I don't hate them. I'm just kidding. I can't hate everything. I can't. That's mean. It's just mean and evil. You ever 14.5 points a game, 6 rebounds. All right, so your Liam McNeely update from Richardson, Texas. Pierce, Texas High School. John Paul II, Texas. And my goodness, how many high schools did you play for? Monteverde Academy in Florida. Interesting. And yes, you went to UConn. Yeah, Howell. Good for them. Freaking UConn Huskies. They won so many titles. Sons of biscuits. But it sounds like somebody in Australia, doesn't it? Even though it's not. But I mean, you could meet somebody in Australia when their name is Liam McNeely. Isn't that like possible? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a total dork, and I apologize. But well, yeah, I'm just living in another world here. I apologize. But that's kind of all the movement and such. It didn't even show the free agent signings of the Timberwolves, though. I just realized that. That's stupid. So I don't think these are updated properly. I apologize. You know, what's wrong with me? I thought I was just sitting here like saying, okay, we're going to get to it and then go on and talking about it. Oh, my God. I apologize. I feel like such a dork. Okay, so Naz Reid, 5 years, $125 million, will be staying with the Minnesota Timberwolves with the extension, obviously opting out, and then the extension has begunneth. So there's that. Jeez, I don't understand that. Why? It's so annoying. I'm sorry. I feel like such a dork. I probably missed some stuff, too. This guy named Julius Randle, of course, also, in his case, opting out as well. Yeah. And then signing a 3-year extension, a 30.6 says this is a type of thing, and then 33 and 26-27, and 36 million flat in 27-28, a 3-year, $100 million extension for Julius Randle, again, who did opt out at the end of the day to be able to sign the extension. That's pretty much what happened there. And then Naz Reid, the 5 years, $125 million to sign with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, how crazy things can change. As years ago, Kevin Garnett had a 7-year, $126 million contract, and the world exploded. Remember that? But of course, that was in '97, so what the hell am I talking about? That is a long time ago. Wow, that's a long time ago. I feel really old. Leonard Miller, talk is hopefully he will be, hopefully he'll be a part of something here going forward, as that's obviously huge. Like, this is, yeah, I apologize for just going on and on and on about all those free agent signings and not even talking about our own freaking players. So I feel like a jerk, and I apologize, even though that stuff is entertaining and fun. It is important. Now, of course, I did talk about the departure of Mr. Yeah, this is incomplete. I'm really annoyed right now. What's wrong with this stupid thing? Like, it's not accurate. It's not really accurate. I feel terrible. Hopefully there's a better thing here. Yeah, and then you just get all this where it's like 500 things. That doesn't help either. God, dang it. Hopefully I can get a better detail here. Where, yeah, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, 4-year. Josh Giddey, restricted free agent. Naz Reid, 5-year, 125. Fred VanVleet, 225. Yep, see, these weren't even mentioned. Ugh. Kyrie Irving agreed to a 3. Really? Kyrie Irving? Okay, well, because he's not going to play, so he's going to get paid basically to not be able to play really next year. And LeBron James did opt in 52.6 player option, but might be on Cleveland. You never know. James Harden agreed to a 2-year, 81.5. So there's other guys I want to talk about here under federal gambling investigation. That's Malik Beasley. Al Horford is an unrestricted free agent at the moment. Yep, Caris LeVert Went to the Hawks. Good for him. Or is it Detroit? I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Yep, he went to Detroit, so that's probably a nice replacement for Beasley. It is. Gary Payton, 2 is an unrestricted free agent. He's 32 years old already. That's pretty weird. Westbrook, unrestricted free agent, 36. Chris Paul, unrestricted free agent, 40 years old. That's right. Chris Middleton, 33.3 player option picked up. Come on, where's this other guy that... Or are they not even showing it? Drummond, just $5 million. Man, that's... I remember, it seems like yesterday, I really thought highly of him. Come on. Trying to find our guy here that we, a guy that I always thought there was something there, but it just, never really happened, that kind of thing. Josh Minot going to the Boston Celtics. They're not showing the amount, though. But I know he signed with the Boston Celtics. Maybe it's not really much of a contract to talk about, but still, Josh Minot going to the Celtics. Come on, just show. Whoa, your career earnings. That's not helping me at all. So, okay, 2.3. I think it was just a 1-year ditty, right? So, there's just that. It's short. Free agent in 27. Yep, so, okay, it's 2 years. My apologies. What am I looking at here? Yeah, Celtics, 2 years, about 5, just under $5 million. Average salary slightly under 2.5, basically. So that's kind of the, yep, and it's a guaranteed contract, of course, because that's the NBA. So good for him, though. He's for sure getting the 4.963409. What kind of number is that? What are you doing? That's weird. So he'll be a free agent in 27. Josh Minot currently does have a contract with the Boston Celtics. Thank you. Sport Track. We're going to be coming back to that maybe in a minute as well. But Hoops Type is where I tend to go, but Sport Track can be very helpful as well. Beringer already has his rookie contract. Leonard Miller, I do believe that's a team option next year, right? Yeah, but it's a qualifying offer. 2.4 next year. So hopefully Mr. Leonard Miller can get things going. Otherwise, Jalen Clark as well is eligible for an extension before next year as well. So it needs to get done. This upcoming season, he'll be making just under 2.2. Him being Jalen Clark. He was a second-round pick, let's not forget. So, but a talented son of a gun. Julius Randle with the extension, like we talked about. Rob Dillingham should be taking on a much larger role. Mike Conley is an expiring contract this season, so that's a huge part of the conversation as well. But Josh Minot making just under $5 million, and I remember seeing that before. I just forgot, because it's like I'm so tied up into so many things. Leonard Miller, about half of his contract is guaranteed. Interesting. Julius Randle can make an extra about just under $1 million for making an all-defensive team, earning an all-star selection, or making the playoffs, having played in at least 65 games. Okay, so it's one of those three. He can make about $945,000 extra. Him being Julius Randle. Yeah, again, Leonard Miller, about half of the contract is actually guaranteed this upcoming season, and again, he is due for some kind of extension at some point, otherwise a team option going into next year. Very important for Leonard Miller to take that step forward. Josh Minot, we thought he did, and then he just kind of didn't, and it was frustrating. To me, Josh Minot kind of looked like, he was still 18, 19 years old out there. Looked just like he hadn't taken that next step. His release on his shot still felt like a 19-year-old as well. Just like, it was ridiculous. Like, come on, Josh. What was it, like his third, fourth season? I was getting very confused, pardon me. Whew. Yeah, I was getting very confused. It was his third year. And it's like, you still look like a 19-year-old out there. Come on, Josh. So we'll see if he can get some PT in Boston. Of course, injured players and departing players with the Boston Celtics. Probably not going to win the NBA title next year, but I guess you never know. But probably not. What am I thinking about here? Yeah, because obviously, Will Horford, it sounds like he's going to sign with the Golden State Warriors. Screw you, Horford. I hate the Warriors. Okay, stop hating, Joey. I dislike the Warriors. And Jason Tatum is out for the season, probably. Like 99% chance with a torn Achilles in the NBA Conference Finals. So it's kind of like, what can you do? Second round, not Conference Finals, divisional round in the NBA Conference Semis. also known as Joe Ingles. Also, last but not least, 3.634 1-year contract for Joe Ingles. I believe it is the minimum for somebody that's been in the league as long as him, because he's been in the league for many years, him being Joe Ingles might. The cap hit supposedly is only 2.2, but he'll actually get 3.6, cash on la saison. So he's going to get, which is kind of nice. He gets more than the cap hit, so that's kind of cool. At the end of the day, the cap hit is actually less, but right here it is showing the full 3.634 for la saison. Maybe I was hearing that wrong earlier, but that's what I thought I heard. 2.2 is the only cap hit, but that's the actual cash you'll get. Okay, I'm repeating myself like a fool here, and I apologize. But so far, it's kind of more of the same. The new face that'll likely be on the roster is Joan Beringer. Joan Beringer will be with the Wolves. And, of course, Rob Dillingham with a larger role. He's making 6.5. Pretty hefty rookie contract, being he was the 8th overall pick in Robbie D's case. Dilly, baby. Okay, I won't play that again. You get the point. Just annoy people. But Naz Reid, it seems like yesterday he was making, $8 million, something like that. And then it's like 15. Hell yeah, go Naz Reid. It's kind of similar with Naz Reid and Nah. How they kind of kept getting bigger and bigger. And then eventually, Naz Reid was the only one left standing, getting to the 25 and up range, starting with 21.5-ish this year. And in his the fifth year of the contract, he'll be making 28.5 basically, and that is a player option. So once again, a player option coming Naz Reid's way. So it'll be like, is he going to get another big increase in money at that point? Naz Reid will be closer to 30 at that point, though. That's 5 whole years away. Naz Reid is currently, he was born in 99. He's he's turning 26. Golden birthday. Congratulations, Naz, on August 26th. So, golden birthday coming up for the Naz man. Yep. And a nice hefty raise. Obviously, already bringing in, gotta love that smile. Looks like a young Lieutenant Worf, by the way. I've always said that. He does. He looks like a young Lieutenant Worf, like season 1, season 2 of Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah, Michael, he looks like him, dang it. Michael Dorn. But yeah, at least 6 million increased here, about 6.5 with the first year, which is a lot cheaper than, like much later. Where, it's like 13, 14 million more going forward by his final season versus final season of the previous contract. So, nice to see good players get recognized and get the raise and such that they do deserve at the end of the day, without going absolutely nuts and going way over the top. Do I think Shea should be making 71.25? I don't know. I guess that's too high. Dang it! I think it's too high, but that's me. And it's nothing against Shea. It's not Shea that I'm like kind of rolling my eyes at. It's I don't know. It's just the whole system. It's too much. Dang it! I don't know. I think it's too much, and it's going to get to a point where you're going to see players signing. I mean, it just feels like it's right around the corner. 1 year, $100 million contracts. I mean, 3 years, 305. Like, what? I mean, we're just about there. Do you realize how close we are to that? It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. 3 years, 305. Like, seriously? That much for one stinking season? Not including endorsements. The endorsements are probably more. I mean, weren't there players that make over $100 million total when you include the endorsements? Like Shaquille O'Neal, the talk is he's never even deposited an NBA check because of all the endorsements he got throughout his career. Like all of his NBA money, or like he never took the cash out, whatever. Maybe all that money is just sitting in a savings account, maybe a Swiss bank account somewhere. Just safe and sound, maybe building interest. Crazy. It's hard to believe Shaq isn't a billionaire, actually. But so far, 2 players in NBA history are billionaires. Michael Jordan at, 2.5, I believe, billion, and then LeBron is at 1.2 right now. And we all know that's probably growing. 1.2 billion. He's the first current player to be a billionaire. Current player to be a billionaire. So good for him. It's like literally a billionaire out there playing. And it's funny, too. It seems like yesterday being a billionaire meant you could buy a team. Because teams were, 250, 275, whatever, back in the day. Like not that long ago, like the mid-2000s. Now you got to have like $3 billion cash pretty much to even buy like one of the lower end teams. It's pretty ridiculous. That's, again, I'm going to say again, it's getting ridiculous. It's too much. It's a combination of inflation and greed and obsession. It's too much. Too much. Ugh, it's too much. Yeah, inflation, greed, and obsession. That's what it is as far as I'm concerned. Call me whatever you want when I say those kind of words. But that's the way I look at it. At the end of the day. Fan interaction. Shall we keep going? Fan interaction. Okay, why am I getting a white screen? Basket case. Okay. Probably going to miss half of what I should be reading here. And again, I apologize for the not even getting to our players at the time. That's pretty dumb. What did I make? Some kind of lame statement like so many of the French players haven't really amounted to a whole lot. Fancho responds with, or at Iron Sweet. I don't think he follows me, and I don't think he wants to either. He says basically that just like the American players, do all of them become great? It's like, no, it's okay. I just said, we'll see what happens, and of course, no response, Captain. So that's the end of that. Unfortunately, that ended pretty quickly, and I guess that's what I get for making a statement that probably not everybody liked. Vince Germano and Tanae Brown retweeting the most recent episode, and I can't thank you guys enough. Seriously, I cannot. Love you guys to death. And I was saying BS, a lot of people can't stand the Thunder. That was around that same time when somebody was saying like the whole country was rooting for the Thunder except for the state of Indiana. And it's like, that's BS. That's BS. I know a lot of people that wanted Indiana to win the NBA Finals, and I'm dead serious. In fact, most of the people that I was talking to were Indiana, because just don't want the Thunder to win. Dang it, partially because of Minnesota, losing to the Thunder. And yes, some other important detail. It's just that it's been belabored for so long. A lot of us were just kind of like, well, yeah, they're probably going to get it eventually. The whole Glenn Taylor thing, he finally backed away and said, forget it, and all that, and the approval and all that, the arbitration. Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez are the owners of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Period. They've been approved. It's over. It was unanimous. They are the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Glenn Taylor wrote out a statement basically thanking the Wolves and this and that. And there was a lot of annoyance, kind of thinking, yeah, well, you kind of put us in these weird situations that we were in. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. I am absolutely not going to put any more fuel to the fire about how Taylor's the devil and Garnett is, Jesus, basically. Come on, people. I just don't see it that way. I don't think Taylor was a good owner, but I don't think he was the devil either. I just don't. People like to exaggerate things way too much, and that's kind of how it is. Unfortunately, minimal fan interaction, which is the way that is at the end of the day. But very happy to have the new ownership group. Yes, more than likely Kevin Garnett's going to be involved with the franchise again. Generally, that's good, but I'm not as crazy about it as probably about 90% of you listening right now. I'm not as crazy about it as a lot of you are. I don't know. When I see either it's arrogance from the player or just like a chip on the shoulder to a point of like, okay, we get the point. Can you shut up now? Just stop it. That's kind of where I'm at with Garnett, with the whole Taylor thing. Again, is Taylor a good owner? No. But I don't know. Does Garnett come off looking like a leader or more like somebody who just, I don't know, likes to bicker and jump on people? I don't know about that either. He doesn't look too good as far as I'm concerned. Did I like Randy Moss's Hall of Fame speech? Hell no. He made an ass of himself. Randy Moss made an ass of himself. Any good, feelings people had about him because he, joined the media, was smiling for the camera, and seemed like he was coming off like, yeah, okay, he joined the group that he always hated and treated like crap. Okay, the media. He was good with them, whatever. He was good. He was in the media now with the NFL. Some of the other political stuff, don't even get me started with Randy Moss. But the Hall of Fame speech where it was just attitude after attitude after attitude, not a gracious way to enter the Hall of Fame. Not a good look, in my opinion. Not a good look at all. Now, why am I getting into that? I don't know, but I can kind of see Garnett similarly, similarly in some ways, because also, see, now I said I wasn't going to get into it, yet I get into it like crazy. Garnett's Hall of Fame speech kind of summed things up in a different way, not so much as a chip on his shoulder, But the thing that was kind of annoying was, people say it's not Garnett's fault that the Wolves are in, cap hell and all that. Really? Did you listen to his Hall of Fame speech and the people that he gave some of the people he gave the most credit throughout his career? Let's see, Trenton Hansel, Troy Hudson, guys like that, and how their contracts really hurt those contract extensions really hurt the Timberwolves. You had to keep them here because they're Garnett's guys. I'm telling you, whether direct or indirectly, Garnett was a part of that. He was. Just like LeBron James was a part of some bad signings in Cleveland in the past. Every desperation to keep him happy and this and that. Whereas the Bulls didn't do that in Chicago, and they won 6 titles. Charles Oakley was Michael Jordan's best friend. Still is, at least from what most people say. Michael Jordan was furious when the Bulls traded Bill Cartwright. Where did Michael Jordan play most of his career, and where did he win 6 championships after that trade? Not because Bill Cartwright necessarily, but the first 3, Bill Cartwright definitely helped because it was the right mix. It was the right mix, and maybe it was less expensive as well. Like, Charles Oakley would have been awesome with the Bulls. Let's not kid ourselves if they were winning championships, but for whatever reason, it wasn't really working. Maybe Jordan was getting a little too big for his britches, was a little too happy with himself with having his guys there in Chicago. And then maybe to, make Michael Jordan basically, I don't know how to even explain it, but just kind of, get in line basically with the system. It worked. It eventually worked. And sometimes that's how things need to be handled. And I don't think the Timberwolves handled that well at all in the Garnett era. And I don't think the Cavaliers handled that in the first LeBron James era. And there's so many other players you could mention in that category. So something I've gotten into way too many times here. That might annoy some of you listening, and I apologize. That might be one of the reasons Timberwolves Explosion, one of the oldest podcasts in the history of Minnesota. Yeah, that's actually the first time I've mentioned that. This is one of the oldest standing podcasts in the history of Minnesota, the state of Minnesota. Timberwolves Explosion. I looked up what are the oldest podcasts in Minnesota history, standing podcasts, and this was one of 3. The other 2, I got goosebumps when I saw it. Purple Mafia and Brave the Wild. I almost fainted. Like, I don't know how that's even possible. But off of that, I don't even know why I mentioned that other than it's just that, been here a long time and seen it all kind of in a lot of ways. But just hope you'll stick with me. And those of you that have, I just can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. Please give a positive 5-star rating for Timberwolves Explosion on iTunes. Please do, or Apple Podcasts. Please don't hate me for maybe having a different opinion on Garnett. I don't hate him. I don't hate Garnett. I don't. And if he's back in the organization, that's good. You see his number in the rafters where it should be? Yeah, wonderful. Do I wish with all my heart and soul that he brought a championship to Minnesota? Hell yes. Yes, I do. And I pray to God that Anthony Edwards will do it soon. I pray to God that that's not too far away from happening at the end of the day. So with all of that said, thank you so much for listening. Go Timberwolves. Let's keep this going in the right direction and go Dilly Dilly. Go Dilly Dilly. Go Beringer and Rocco Zilkarsky.